close. Almost to leader. Here's the leader. And we're in gear, Cap. Go, Mike. Good job.
You're watching Captain Sean Morgan with the weather up down near Cabo San Lucas, catching copious amounts of marlin. The marlin bite has been absolutely fantastic there out of San Jose del Cabo. Sean runs the Wild and Sack, and he does such a great job. They've already got multiple fish that they've caught and released so far here today, even given the rough seas. Great fishing for marlin right now in Cabo San Lucas. They're running on another fish as we speak. Woo! Hey, good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California. Right here in Southern California, we're sandwiched between Seal Beach and Huntington Beach, and it's a beautiful morning indeed. I can see a little bit of rain to the south of me. It looks like there's some rain down toward Newport Beach, but overall, it's a gorgeous morning. A slight breeze, a little chilly, but that ocean, look at it. It is flat, calm, and that bodes well for some good sport fishing here in Southern California today, this lovely Friday morning. Hey, if you don't mind, hit that like button. We deeply appreciate it when you do that. Share these videos with a friend. Tick the bell. You'll be notified when there's new content. Subscribe to the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel. And also you can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. We appreciate all your likes, all of the great support you've given us here already in 2024. A lot to talk about. We're going to get into the long range situation. There's going to be guys out fishing halibut here today. We wish them all the very best of luck. There's sculpin, there's whitefish. Of course, there's been some really excellent surf fishing. A lot to chat with you about here this morning, including some great long range fishing. Now, I've got to tell you, last night, Danny Cadota's show, right here on the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel, we had two special guests all talking about this brand new, gorgeous, beautiful book by Scott Manson. He has done an extraordinary job laying out the history of Tady Lures. And I'm telling you, I learned so much, but I was so impressed with the book itself. It is a masterpiece. You'll be able to pick it up at the PCS show, the Pacific Coast Sport Fishing Show. So man, PCS show, is that what I said? You got to go there. And Scott will be right next to the Tady booth. This book is absolutely beautiful. It was a great podcast. You get your first look at it by joining Danny on that podcast. It's archived for you now. Make sure you take the time to go back and look at that. And Joey Shimizu from Tady Lures, he was there last night. He is such a gentleman, such a great job last night explaining all kinds of different ways to fish the lures and the history of Tady Lures. It is a story that you're going to love. It is beautifully photographed, incredibly well researched. Scott, you did a magnificent job, and if you don't sell out of that book, I will be flabbergasted. I know that is definitely going to happen. All right, let's talk Mexico. You already saw that crazy Sean Morgan from the Wild and Sack down there in Cabo San Lucas. We'll see if he can catch any marlin here in the next couple of days, including today. He's been doing really well, as you can see. Lots of marlin biting very close to San Jose del Cabo. He says he pokes his nose out there a couple miles, and they are biting. Now, he had some windy weather yesterday, so he wasn't able to go further offshore where the yellowfin tuna have been. But you've got that marlin bite offshore further. When you get good weather days, you can fish that yellowfin tuna. Cabo's been chugging along really well here so far this winter, especially on that marlin bite. It's been very, very good. Now, we move you up to the Laredo area. Our friends from Current Jam were there recently, had great yellowtail action in Loreto. I love the wintertime bite there. I remember my brother and I made our first drive to Laredo in our teenage years, and we never looked back. That was so much fun, and that bite is as good as it was back in the day. Current Jam proving that. 140 miles down below the border, we see some really good fishing around San Quintin. The yellow bite has been excellent down there this winter. Fantastic fishing, and that bodes well for some really great fishing to come here in the spring and even in the winter. Guys are going to start running down the Collinette, which is only 120 miles below the border. And there in that neck of the woods, I think they are going to come up with some really good fishing. They not only have all that great bottom fish, but they have a shot at some really good yellowtail action there. So I'm thinking that is going to be very, very good. Ensenada is located only 70 miles below the border, and they have had some outstanding fishing. Lupe's trying to navigate this. Go, Lupe, run! Good morning, Lupe.
Good morning.
Lupe's walking by. She was going to try that, and I wish she would have, because I wish you all would have seen her scurry across trying to miss the waves. Great stuff here. Ensenada is only 70 miles down below the border, and they've had a myriad of different fish down there. Rockfish, bonita, they've had occasional yellowtail, calico bass. It's been really great fishing down there in Ensenada. You know, we're dodging storms, of course, in the wintertime, but overall that has been really excellent fishing. All right, long range situation. We got to get into that with you because we've been watching the guys struggle a little bit here recently with the larger yellowfin tuna. Now, having said that, the Royal Polaris is offloading 16 fish over 200 pounds. They had one over 300 pounds. I'm talking about yellowfin tuna. And they had a myriad of other fish, 40 to 90 pound fish, a lot of 100 to 160 pound fish. They had a great trip. They are offloading, and then they are on their way on a 22-day trip heading down the Baja coast. And man, they are going to go a long way, so we'll see how they do on that one. I believe Eric Sheets is on that trip, if memory serves me, from last night's show with Danny Cadota. Eric and Cal Sheets, of course, have done so much in this industry. He's going to be on that 22-day trip. That should be something. The XL struggling trying to catch that yellowfin tuna down below said, you know what, guys, let's try something new. Let's go wahoo fishing. They ended up with 30 nice wahoo. In fact, one of those anglers on the XL graces the cover of the morning briefing this morning with a nice hoo. So there's hoo fishing going on. There's yellowfin tuna fishing, although it's a little slow right now, a little inconsistent on those big fish. It'll get rolling again, and it could be today. We'll see how that goes. The Independence is making their way up the Baja coast and will be into San Diego here shortly after about a 3-day run from the grounds all the way up the Baja coast and into San Diego. Remember, this is the time of the year when long-range vessels are fishing 16-day trips, 22-day trips, long trips like that, and they have been doing quite well overall. A little bit of a slower bite here recently, but don't lose the forest or the trees. That'll get back going again. All right, let's talk the local areas here in Southern California. We kind of talked about it down in Baja already, and we looked to Baja as a kind of forecast for what's to come here. We've seen some good barracuda fishing around Todos Santos Islands at time, and we even had a barracuda here off San Pedro the other day. Now, some guys shrug their shoulders and say, it's a holdover fish, or that stuff's here all year long, but we like to be positive here at Friedman Adventures, and hopefully Alex Serrano will get the gar bite going here in Southern California. Had one 26-inch barracuda the other day. Interesting, and hopefully we're going to see some early signs on that gar this year. But for now, we're fishing wintertime structure bass, which has been pretty darn good this winter. We've seen a lot of sand bass and calico bass. Marina del Rey sport fishing has been a landing that has focused a lot on that. Daytime fishing on the Spitfire has been quite good. And then the nighttime bite on the new Del Mar, the twilight bite, has been spectacular also. Nick Ramirez is a local Southern California angler who's been on that bite with a lot of enthusiasm, doing quite well here recently. Earl the Pearl McVicker, he's also been out quite a bit, especially on the twilight trips, been doing very good with a guy named John Flood. So some good nighttime fishing on that sand bass, some good daytime fishing also. You're fishing mostly a lead head, excuse me. You're fishing mostly a lead head with squid or a sliding egg sinker with squid. And you want to fish as heavy a fluorocarbon as you can, because those fish are around structure and they will run you back into it before you know what happens to you. If you have to drop down to 20 to get a bite, do it. If you can get away with 40 pounds, do it. I mean, that fish is very adept at running you back into the structure, whether it's a rock or a sunken ship or whatever it is. They will saw you off before you know what hit you. So pull hard when you get a bite, and that's the way to do it. Now, halibut fishing. We'll see how the native son does today out of 22nd Street Landing in beautiful San Pedro, California. They were not out yesterday, but they are scheduled to go today, and they run Wednesday through Sunday. They have a competition going on and thousands of dollars in prizes for the biggest bass and biggest halibut. 5 fish over 20 pounds on the leaderboard for the native son so far. They also have similar kind of a derby going on down there at Dana Wharf, sport fishing. Several other landings are partaking in the wintertime halibut bite, which has been pretty good. Not wide open on most days, but there's been some double-digit catches. Last day on the native son, last time they were out, they had double digits, and they released 19 fish. So it's been pretty good. Pat O'Brien, who runs the Aloha Spirit up there out of Cisco's in Oxnard, great guy, great fisherman. He says, man, Phil, you know as well as me, it doesn't matter what you're fishing for. If you drop down on your fluorocarbon or mono or whatever you're fishing, drop it down, you're going to get more bites. And he is suggesting 15 pound on the halibut, saying that you're fishing in the sand when you're fishing halibut, so they're not going to saw you off or anything. And most of the time, halibut don't put up a real tussle. Sometimes they just come up really slowly until they see the boat, and then they can freak out, or they see that gaff headed toward their head. Sometimes they'll freak out then. But overall, you can fish the lighter line. You'll get more bites. Choose a good hot bait. That all ups your chances of cranking in a really nice flatfish. So we'll keep our eyes on that situation here today. It is an absolutely gorgeous day to partake in that. Now, also, rockfish season is closed here in Southern California. It's open down there in Mexico, but it is closed here. So you are not able to fish the rockfish here in SoCal. But that leaves sculpin and whitefish, so you can load up on that, and you, as we previously mentioned, you have a shot at the wintertime bass. Surf fishing, I mentioned to you the big fish bait and tackle right here in the beautiful city of Seal Beach, California, a stone's throw from where I'm standing on the corner of PCH and Seal Beach Boulevard. Has all the baits you could possibly want, as well as all the tackle, from trout to surf fishing to big game fishing. And they are starting up a monthly surf fishing tournament that is going to start here on March the 1st. So April the 1st, they will be awarding their first custom beautiful rod. They're going to switch it up on the species. So the first month is going to be barred perch. And the largest barred perch, I think that's how it's going to go, will win a free custom rod. And it doesn't cost anything to get into it. I'll have more details, but I just wanted to let you know, keep your eyes open for that great tournament. Big fish, bait and tackle. There's been some good surf fishing, really good. You get a little window. You know, those fish have been biting quite well. We're going to fish here tomorrow and see what we can come up with, but these are perfect conditions, man. I'll be throwing my chrome crocodile. My son Philip, he says he might show up, and he's going to work a lucky craft, and we may have a few other guys, including the kids, might show up. Michael Limon and Isaac Parcells' kids might show up, so we'll see how that all goes tomorrow. There's been Corbina, there's been yellowfin croaker, there's been halibut. Man, it's been pretty darn good. And most of the fish, well, I won't say that, but a lot of fish have been on the artificials, but there's also been quite a bit of fish on bait. And also, don't let me leave the barred perch out, because it's wintertime, and that's when those babies really like to bite. They like the cooler water. So looking forward to that here very, very soon. By the way, Tucker McCombs in the Endeavor out of Ventura Sport Fishing, you just can't get on that boat because he is chartered all year long for good reason. The guy is one of the best, if not the best, fisherman on the coast. He does a great job. He just put out his open party schedule, which is like this. It's not very big because, as I say, he gets chartered all the time. If you want to grab one of those trips, I highly recommend you do it ASAP. 805-676-3474. It is tax season, and there's nobody better than my friend Tim Marquez and A Best Income Tax. He's not only good at what he does, he is so trustworthy. Tim is a great guy, and this is a great day for you to get that burden off your shoulders. Get your taxes taken care of and move ahead into the new year. with that burden off your shoulders. Give Tim a call today. All right, lobster has been pretty darn good. I got to tell you, the lobster hoop netting, it's perfect right now. And you can see here, some guys have been coming up with some nice big bugs and copious amounts of great eating lobster up and down the Southern California coast. We've seen it locally. We've seen great fishing at Catalina Island. The Gale Force is a boat in the Triton. They've been doing the lobster trips to Catalina Island. Most of the time they fish whitefish and load you up with that, and then they fish the lobster, and they've been doing pretty darn good. Andrew Warren, well, a whole bunch of bugs as he is showing off there. I am jealous. I want a few of those for my dinner here tonight. And also Tony Garcia with a nice big bug right here on your PromarAhi.com lobster hoop netting update. It has been really, really good here recently. No question about that. I'm telling you, folks, you don't want to miss our April 4th to the 9th bluefin tuna trip. I just looked, the Polaris Supreme is going to start going 3-day trips in March, and then we'll be out April 4th through the 9th, a 5-day trip on board the Independence out of Point Loma Sport Fishing. Give their office a call today and make sure you jump on that 5-day trip with Friedman Adventures. And also you can sign up at the Bart Hall show in San Diego at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. It's going to be great, February 15th through the 18th. You don't want to miss that. It's going to be a great show with Bart Hall. And of course, I'll be wandering around there on Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll have some free gifts. If you happen to recognize me and you can answer a question, then you are going to be awarded a free gift courtesy of Friedman Adventures and some of our great sponsors. All right, my friends, what can I tell you? It's a gorgeous day. It's a beautiful morning. The sun is rising, and I hope you get out and experience this beautiful ocean. Are those birds? Have you guys been watching that back there? I hope so. Just landing in the water, not picking at any bait or anything. But remember, when you are surf fishing, keep your eyes on bird activity. You see some birds picking in the surf, 100 yards down, you better hightail it down there and get a jig on them or get some kind of a bait on them, because those birds are showing you the way. There's no doubt about it. What a show last night, the Danny Cadota show, something that I'm not going to ever forget. And Scott, what a great book, The History of Tady Lures. Joey Shimuzu really contributed beautifully to the show. You're going to want to go and check out that podcast on the Danny Cadota show last night, one of our live shows. Look in our live show section and you will see it. You'll get a first look at that great book, and you'll be able to purchase it at the Pacific Coast Sport Fishing great celebration at the Orange County Fairgrounds in March. All right, my friends, what can I tell you? Gorgeous day, beautiful morning. Hopefully you have a great Super Bowl Sunday weekend. And as always, I hope to see you really, really soon. Take care, my friends.